News at 6 with Joe Perkins.
Good evening, I'm Louise Hartland. Joe Perkins is off tonight. Saanich police believe they have found the canoe that capsized off 10 Mile Point Friday night, throwing 2 men into the water. One of them is still missing. We'll get to that story in a moment, but first, a big day and a big show for the gay, lesbian and transgendered community on Vancouver Island. And what a day for it. The sun was out and so was the crowd, the largest yet. All loud and all proud. Under a glowing sun and a million rainbows.
Happiness and rainbows. That's my message. And unicorns.
Members and supporters of Victoria's lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgendered community proudly marched down Government Street.
Oh my God, it's so awesome. It gets bigger and bigger every year, and we're here every year. Awesome.
And brighter. Organizers say 100 groups are registered to march in the parade, a 30% increase over last year.
Oh, it's rocked. It's more than even last year. It's growing and growing and growing. People are becoming more aware and knowing that Pride is for everyone.
It's just everybody gets together. It's a big celebration. People get to be out and proud and enjoy the fantastic weather in Victoria, and it really brings a community together.
Happy Pride, everyone!
Weeks after 2 alleged hate crimes rocked this community, the mayor says it is important to come out and show support.
You know, when you hear about those crimes, it makes it so much more important that the City of Victoria, Mayor and Council, our police are all out here participating in Pride. It's important that we stand up for diversity. It's important that we stand up for all of our citizens. So, yeah, it's important for us to be here and look at all the crowd, look at the community coming out and supporting all members of our community.
The owner of Paparazzi nightclub, where one of the threats was directed, says the support today sends an important message.
The police are here guarding us. They've been wonderful, fabulous. The mayor has been wonderful, everybody.
McDonald Park in James Bay was home to Pride Festival, the culmination of Pride Week, where thousands of people gathered to celebrate and spread their message.
What's the main message today?
The main message? Love.
Celebrate yourself, please. Boy, it's changed so much over the years. I came out in 1964. It was still illegal. I mean, I could have been put in an institution, but instead my family said, go for it.
And with the community becoming more accepting, it is a message they hope everyone will hear. Saanich police believe they have found the canoe that capsized late Friday night near 10 Mile Point. 2 men were dumped into the frigid water. One was rescued, clinging to the rocks near Todd Island. The search has been called off for the other 20-year-old man who is still missing. The canoe was spotted near Race Rocks by a commercial fishing vessel that called it in after hearing an advisory from the Coast Guard on the radio.
We sent detectives with the RCMP Marine unit out to recover what was felt to be the canoe that these 2 young men were using. Unfortunately, we haven't confirmed that yet, but it is similar in make, model, and the color and appearance. So they believe that it is likely the same canoe, but yet we are waiting confirmation. The
men were using it to try to get to Discovery Island to go camping. Boaters and beachgoers are asked to watch for the missing man, who was last seen wearing a blue Umbro soccer hoodie, as well as items missing from the boat: 2 wooden paddles and a neon green dry bag containing camping equipment. Neither man was wearing a life jacket. Both families are being supported by Greater Victoria Victim Services. Investigators are on the scene of a small plane crash near Vernon that killed 2 men. It happened yesterday afternoon. RCMP say the twin-engine aircraft smashed into the sports field minutes after takeoff and burst into flames. The pilot is believed to be a 59-year-old man from Kelowna, and his passenger was from Port Moody. No one on the ground was injured, but police say it was a close call.
I understand that there was a very close call with individual that was sitting watching the aircraft earlier in the day, and yes, had to run when the aircraft came down.
Police say witnesses tried to put out the blaze with fire extinguishers, but were overcome by the intensity of the flames. Back on the island now, the mercury is rising at the right time in Nanaimo. Thousands have descended on the harbor city for the annual Dragon Boat Festival. The breast cancer fundraising event pits dragon boat teams against one another for a good cause on the open water. But as CTV's Scott Cunningham shows us, hundreds of paddlers and tourists were also battling the sun.
The Nanaimo sky is the same brilliant blue as the ocean. Wherever they are, the weather gods are smiling on the harbor city's largest festival.
It's a nice day. Look at the sunshine. It's beautiful.
Warm, sunny, gorgeous, tasting hot. Santa!
Dancing in the heat or just soaking it all in, Nanaimo's Dragon Boat Fest is bathed in sun. But as the mercury climbs, so does concern for those on the water and on land.
The risk is heat stroke, sunstroke. Part of the problem is the fact people do not drink enough water or hydrates.
The women of the Cowichan Valley Divas don't seem to mind the sweltering heat. This team has dealt with much worse. A number of boats are entirely made up of breast cancer survivors. They are the reason this event occurs each year, raising thousands for equipment to treat the deadly illness. For many paddlers here, the most effective treatment, however, is simply climbing aboard.
We've all got the same problems. We've all got answers to those problems.
When you're faced with a disease, this is the silver lining. As they say, it's a present wrapped in barbed wire.
As paddlers make waves on the water, crowds in Maveo Sutton Park are making an impact on land. Event organizers expect this year's turnout to be the biggest ever. Driven by heat, foot traffic has been impressive, and organizers expect visitors to the three-day event will pump $1.5 to $2 million into the local economy.
In terms of the economic impact, it's quite considerable. All of the hotel rooms in Nanaimo are filled a year ahead of time. There isn't a hotel room to be had.
Far from the hotels and restaurants are the paddlers themselves. The men and women who have helped raise over $580,000 for cancer treatment equipment for Nanaimo's hospital. And with little sign the sun is slowing them down, that number is likely to get a lot bigger in the days to come. Scott Cunningham, CTV News, Nanaimo.
Fundraisers were also out in the sunshine on the West Shore today. Friends and supporters came together for a barbecue to raise money for a single mother with terminal cancer. Hot dogs were on the grill, with proceeds going towards a trust fund for Julia Wolf's 3-year-old son, Lucas. The 28-year-old was diagnosed with stage 3 metastatic melanoma. She says today's event gives her hope for her son.
You know, it kind of reminds me of the reality of my situation, but it's just nice to know that so many people care and that they're coming together, and it helps.
Julia says she is waiting for more test results to see if she can fly to Calgary for treatment. Doctors told her she has a 20% chance of living for another 5 years. There was a very special reunion in Mount Doug Park today. 50 years after the first time they wheeled their way up the windy roadway, the Victoria Hillclimbers were out again, this time safely parked at the bottom of the mountain. Former drivers and car lovers came out to admire the hot rods, similar to some of the cars used to race up the road back in 1962. The Victoria Motorsports Club organized the event to try and bring some of the old boys back together, and it worked.
Club racing wasn't for money, it was just for trophies, and but it still didn't take the competitiveness out of it, I can tell you. It was loads of fun. None of us had a lot of money, and you know, you're trying to do the best work for a living and race on the weekends, so it was great.
The hill climb came to a stop in 1969 when the road conditions started to deteriorate. The weekly event drew hundreds of spectators who lined this winding road as cars raced to the summit. It is one of the most loved examples of local summer produce on Vancouver Island, and today in Saanich, people were celebrating everything strawberry. The music was playing and the crowds were out for the 46th annual Summer Strawberry Festival at Beaver Lake Park. Mitchell's Farm provided the strawberries. They are frozen overnight with sugar and served to the hungry crowd. But it's not just berries here.
And we've got a wide range of concessions for people, and the most part is it's a great day at the beach. That's kind of how it started out. It's a beautiful location. CRD Parks have the park looking great today, and the weather's supposed to be perfect. Hottest day of the year so far.
The Strawberry Festival is the longest-running public event held in the municipality. It started as a family picnic celebrating agriculture in the community.